Hello, thank you for joining me. So in this film, this is our sixth film in our series, how to create a room schedule and how to create a sheet. And we're at the portion of it where we actually are going to be putting together some sheets. One sheet in particular, and the two elements that are going to be on this sheet is going to be our first floor plan and our room schedule. And part of the demonstration here is to show you that these two elements can exist in the same place and be fairly compatible with each other. So let's do this. We kind of left this at the last film. We have our crop boundary, and I believe we're in the activated view, which means that we can go in here, we can make modifications to our floor plan, our view that we're looking at, and everything else is in the background. And we're going to flip that around and put the elements that are in the foreground right now in the background, which is going to be our floor plan. So let's make sure our view is active, which it is. If it isn't, go ahead and activate it. And when you do that, it gives you the ability to go in your first floor plan and move things around that you want to move around. I believe in the last film we had the annotation boundary showing too. And to show you where that is, if you go all the way down here, annotation crop, that should be in here. The reason that isn't showing right now is we don't have all the elements showing. So hide crop region, and we can tell it to crop the view or not to crop the view. And there it is. There's our annotation boundary. So it does show you the primary boundary. The annotation boundary is secondary unless you actually select it. So let's go ahead and move our boundaries in a little bit. You do want to make sure that your boundaries are within the border of the sheet. If not, it's not going to print out right. So that looks pretty good. We're not going to be able to move this on the sheet until we actually get to the sheet, but the desire here is probably move this a little bit to the left and a little bit down to that corner down here. So let's do this. We already have it cropped, but just to demonstrate that, cropping and not cropping, when it's not cropped it shows us our elevation symbols. So we're going to crop that, and everything within this boundary is showing everything outside of that boundary will be hidden. And then we're going to hide that crop region. The last thing we want to do is right click, go to deactivate view, so now our title block is active again. And we're going to move that, just as we described before, just down a little bit and to the left. So it kind of fills up that area. You could use your arrow keys too at this point. That might be helpful for maybe some fine tuning. And we're in pretty good shape. Our view title, that needs to be moved back. That goes just underneath our view, usually underneath the building. Now you have a tail over here, and this is kind of tricky. It's very non-intuitive. To take this tail and move that back over to where the drawing is, where the actual view is, you have to click on the view itself to get that grip, to move that grip over, and then move it there. So otherwise you can just click on it and move it itself. And to get that tail, again, you have to click on the view itself in order to get that tail to show. Okay, you'll notice that the view title here shows us the first floor, shows us our scale, which we changed from 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And that's just about ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is put in our room schedule, and then we should be pretty close to being done. Once we put our room schedule in, we're going to make edits to it, and then this sheet should be pretty well done.